Alright, here we go with game number 2 of this play testing of the Black Adam Talisman team. Looks like my opponent is going first. He rolled 2 shields, a fist, and a mask. Last game, spoiler alert if you did not see last game I was able to pull out the win without the win condition. Here's my opponent's team. He changed his team up from last game. Last game he ran a Lantern Ring team. Looks like now he's running a Bat Family team that centers around Alfred and Bruce Wayne kind of combining to get out Batman, and he's got some good value with Robin, and Batgirl's always good. That one is super rare. Catwoman's kind of interesting in there. He's got the new Huntress from the rare new Huntress from Green Arrow and Flash. For his basic actions, he's got Dark Avenger, which is a great one for his team, and Teamwork. So this is the second time he will be using Teamwork. So he's paying a shield. Looks like he's going to use the Chalkboard Global, and then he's got 3 energy. Game 1, he didn't use much PXG, so I wonder if he's going to buy something for 3 here, kind of disregard PXG again, or if he's going to save that mask and pay 2 for something. Looks like he's paying 2 to pick up an Alfred. That goes straight over into prep because of his use of the Chalkboard Global, saving a mask, and I'm assuming he'll PXG with that. He'll roll a lot of dice next turn, 7 dice. It's cool how Chalkboard Global now guarantees a 7-die roll if you roll 1 mask and a shield. So I roll up my dice there. I've got a lot of energy. I'm going to pay a bolt to, looks like I'm going to Red Dragon Global and pay all 3 to get a Talisman. My goal with this game is looking like, I just wanted to check and gauge how successful the Black Adam ability kind of combos with Talisman. I know the combo exists, obviously. I know it functions, but I want to see how it does and if it's worth building around and spending more time tinkering with. Didn't happen first game because I guess that's a testament to how good this Gorilla Grodd is from the new set, how powerful he can be, especially when you put some low pieces around him, like I did that first game. My opponent rolled up 7 energy, did not land Alfred, landed it on its worst side, sadly for him. Got 6 energy and 7 if you count the shield. Looks like he's going to pay that shield to do something. I wonder what he's going to do. Pay the shield. Using the Chalkboard Global. He's got 2 energy. He's going to pay for another Alfred. And then he's left with 4. Looks like he's going to pay 3 for a Catwoman. That does not go into prep. Only the first die you purchase each turn with that Chalkboard Global does. He uses one of his masks to PXG there on his turn. And looks like he's going to pass it on over to me. So 2 early Alfred buys. I roll up a sidekick, only rolling 4 dice because I decided not to save a mask for PXG. I decided to pick up that Talisman. So he's got, so I've got 2 sidekicks and 2 energy. Not a very good roll, especially if I wanted to do some buying. Doesn't help me too much. At this point I have to decide, do I want to save that mask for PXG and just kind of waste my turn? Looks like I do. Ramp is, in my opinion, ramp is better here than picking up any 2-drop. And I didn't look like I could pick up any 2-drop because the only 2-drop that I had, or that I have on the team, is a 2-drop fist, and I had a mask and a bolt. So that was the only logical play, even though it wasn't very strong. So I'd say my opponent has the advantage. He's got 2 tough to remove dice, 2 minions, whatever you want to call them, characters. And I have purchased very slowly and don't have a lot of ramp. I'm just now ramping. He's already got a ton of ramp. Unfortunately for him here, he does not roll what he needs, and looks like he only rolled 1 mask. So, oh no, he rolled 2 masks, so that's good. 2 masks every turn keeps your bag low and keeps things cycling really well. Looks like he's going to Chalkboard Global a 3rd time. So this is every turn he's Chalkboard Globaled. I like that. Paying 4, putting a Batman over into his prep area. And looks like he's thinking about picking up a Dark Avenger. So he's killing his ramp to buy a Dark Avenger and a Batman. He's got one mask still, so he will move 2 dice over. He's not killing it completely, which I think is very smart. Dark Avenger is good for him. It basically is a magic missile when you have a Batman character out. I roll up my dice. I pulled the Talisman. Not sure if I rolled it. Can't tell. I probably did, and then that's why I'm re-rolling it. Don't need the ability to KO anything because there's nothing out there on my opponent's board for me to KO. I have 2 sidekicks saved though for when that eventually comes about. So here I'm looking to most likely pick up a Black Adam, and I'm going to prep it by paying for the Chalkboard Global. Pay the 4. Put him on over there, and then I have at least one mask I have one mask that I can use for PXG. My opponent PXGs, and then I pass the turn over to him. So he's going to draw 4, add 3, and roll 7. 7 dice is a good roll. Here comes that Catwoman. Let's see if he lands it. And it does indeed land. It does not land the Batman, and there it does come out that second time. He certainly has the energy to pay for all of those. See how he wants to go about doing that. Pays 2 for the Batman and 1 for the Catwoman. Catwoman is a cool die, but expensive. Cool ability, but expensive. So 2 energy left over, one of them being a shield, one being a question mark. He's going to pay 2 for another Dark Avenger. Now the question also becomes, does he want to attack? Let's see if he pushes forward with anything. And then if he does, I decide, do I want to block or do I want to accept that damage? He looks like he's not wanting to attack. He did not, so he passed to me. I PXG'd, and then he passed a turn. I draw 4. 1 comes out of the bag, then I got to refill. Refilling, I pull the Talisman. Now it'd be great to roll that Talisman because if I do so, and the Black Adam. Black Adam does not come up to mask side, but the Talisman looks like it does. So at the very least, I will be able to KO his 2 characters by KOing my 2 sidekicks. The dream, too bad. The dream right there would have been to roll the Black Adam as well. Keep the sidekicks because I want to keep a constant sidekick board so that I can have fodder for for my KOs so that I can KO his stuff. If I don't have things to KO, then I can't KO anything of his. So I pay 3 to pick up one of the mindless ones. Going to use the Talisman there. KO my 2 sidekicks to KO his 2 characters. And again, sadly, I don't get to put those back on the card, or at least force him to decide whether or not they go back on the card or take the damage, because I did not roll Black Adam. But luckily, it's on its 2 mask side, which is one of the real cool benefits of that Black Adam. It being a question mark or a mask character is that if it doesn't come up, at least I have PXG fodder. 6 dice on his side of things. Rolls them up, does not land the Alfred or the Batman. Does land the Catwoman again. Gonna re-roll Alfred or Batman, and both of those come up, so that's not so good. I would still say that he has the advantage. He does have to pay all 3 of those energy to field all of those characters. But that is definitely not good for me. PXG, all of my sidekick dice over. He doesn't look like he's going to attack, or is he going to attack? This would be a fairly good spot to attack. So he's attacking. When he does attack, Catwoman KOs one of my sidekicks. I block the Batman, Catwoman goes to used, and I take some damage. All the way down to 17. So, in my bag, there was only 1 sidekick. I add the rest from used pile. Get to re-roll everything again. Hoping for some sidekicks. Oh, Black Adam comes up. And so does the mindless one. 3 sidekicks. This is shaping up to be a perfect roll. It is hard to tell with that Talisman if that came up. Looks like it did not because I'm re-rolling it. And I think it came up that turn. Gonna field all those sidekicks. 4 sidekicks go out, the mindless one goes out, and the Black Adam goes out. So immediately I have board advantage. And if that did come up, then we get to have some fun. Looks like it did, because it looks like I'm trying to use it. Or maybe I'm paying with energy. Yeah, it looks like I am. Paying 4 energy for 2 Wongs, so it came up its double fist. 2 Wongs into turn, and I do have a mask in the form of a question mark to PXG, so my bag remains empty for next turn. Alright, he draws his 2 Dark Avengers, which could be conceivably pretty bad for me. Has a sidekick, though, there on that roll, and a shield. That yellow really does not work well with the white on the background of the die, so it's hard to tell if he rolled those as action or energy. Looks like one of them is energy, and he buys the third one there. No? Looks like he pinged me twice, so they both must have been actions. Dropping me down to 13, and then it would be unwise to attack here because obviously I have a wall of sidekicks. I PXG and I draw 4 out of the 5 I think that are in my bag. 2 Wongs. Don't draw the Talisman. That would have been fun. Rolling up, I get a lot of energy, and wow, I have a full set of sidekicks if I want them. That's pretty crazy. So the question becomes, do I keep those sidekicks, have 8 sidekicks on the board, and then roll the Wongs again, or do I? It looks like I do. No, I just don't roll the Wongs. Keep the 3 energy, buy more Wong, and oh no, buy a mindless one because it fits into the curve. That's pretty crazy to see all 8 sidekicks out there in 2 turns. I at least know that I feel safe from attacking damage. There's nothing on his side of the board that acts as a board wipe, so that's nice. Rerolling a sidekick comes up as a shield, so he's got 5 energy. Didn't reroll the Alfred. I probably would have done that. That Alfred can stick to the board, especially with something like the team that I'm running, where I can basically auto KO anything on that side. Probably would have kept the Alfred, or try to re-roll it, see if I can land an Alfred. He's doing something with a mask. PXGing on his turn. He does it for 1, and then he's going to pay 4 to pick up a Robin, which can get buffed thanks to the Batman out on the field. Clearly not going to attack. That would be foolish yet again. So he has the life advantage. I had the 1 Talisman in my bag, so I pick up the 3 unused and align my giant board up there. Give myself some room. So I roll 1 Wong. It looks like I also rolled that Talisman. Question then, do I re-roll any of the other characters? It would be good to re-roll some of those characters. The mindless one comes up as the 1 fist, so it actually lowers in value. Pay 1 to field Wong. And now I finally get to use the ability of KOing some of my characters. Gonna KO my sidekicks to KO his 2. Then he is asked the question. Well, first I guess he'd resolve this ability, so he's gonna take a die from his used. Gonna roll that. If it comes up energy, that comes back and is not KO'd. That Alfred. So it looks like he's checking which of his dice he can choose. He can take that sidekick, and in fact that would be the best choice. Well, his only choice, because he doesn't have a Batman. He's going to take 1 damage to keep the Batman from going back to the card. He's going to re-roll a sidekick. It does come up energy, so that just comes right back. So at the price of 2 sidekicks, I KO'd a Batman and knocked him down a life. Attack with a Wong. He's going to block with this Alfred. Alfred would normally get KO'd here. He's going to re-roll it and doesn't have to worry about it going to KO because it just comes right back. And therein lies the reason why I probably would have re-rolled that Alfred earlier. You get those on the board, they can act as just infinite blockers essentially, as long as you keep rolling a 5 and 6 chance. with a sidekick coming from the used. So he pulls 4 from the bag, 2 Dark Avengers yet again. Rerolls the, or not rerolls, excuse me, lands the Batman. Rerolls the 2 Dark Avengers.
The direct damage continues.
He's got a lot of fists. He rolled 4 fists. That's pretty impressive. He's going to hit me with a Dark Avenger. Drops me to 11.
Continues.
Let's see what he does with the energy. Pays 4 fists for a... what is that guy called? Hey, Bruce Wayne. Why do you forget Bruce Wayne? Wow. Does field the Batman as well. Again, I have such a large board that he's basically just in defense mode. Doesn't have any way of board clearing, and he's got a slow climb to get back into this this game from a board perspective. So I take 1 burn damage because I didn't plan out my PXGs accordingly. That was a poor play. This was a game where I felt like I misplayed multiple times, and I really could tell that I hadn't played Constructed in a while. Roll the Wong, that's good, and the Talisman as well. So I will continue to use that Talisman. Field, use the generic to field Wong. Use the Talisman, KO 2 of my sidekicks. Force him to KO his 2 characters. He's going to reroll to see. It's going to pay 1, obviously, to keep that Batman from going back to the card. That comes back, so it doesn't get KO'd. Down to 14 life. I pay 4, pick up the last 2 Wongs that I have, and choose to attack, I would imagine. My goal is to just get that thing off the board. It just keeps having the ability to block and come back and block and come back. So I think the best play here would be to attack. Going to attack with a sidekick and with Wong. Push a little extra damage through. Decisions on where to block. My assumption would be that he would block the larger. He does. He does indeed block Wong. Takes 1 damage, drops him to 14. Rerolls, that comes back, of course. And his turn begins. So he's going to draw 4. He's got Catwoman, he's got Batman rerolling again, and another of the, I guess the 3 now he has, another of the Dark Avengers. Rolls both characters, so that's actually good for him. He's starting to climb back in onto the board, but I can basically just keep KOing his characters at will. He hits me for 2, so I'm down to 8. I have to find a way to burn him out or just remove his characters from the board and swing for lethal. It's most likely going to be that one, but now I know that I have a half chance of pulling, basically a little better than 50% chance of pulling Talisman again instead of a almost certain chance, because now I have to fill my bag and actually have 7 in the bag. I'd been keeping my bag very low before. He KOs one of my sidekicks with his Catwoman ability. 2 of his characters get KO'd. He pays the life to keep them on the board and not back onto the card. Let's see what I end up drawing. Talisman would be good. I do draw the Talisman, so I could end up actually winning right here. His choice to attack there was probably the wrong choice, because he was actually starting to gain an advantage. Here comes the question, though. Do I win? Don't re-roll that character. So Wong doesn't come out. The 3rd one doesn't come out. I do have a... I think I do have enough on the board to just straight attack. Gonna obviously use the Talisman just to make sure. KO one of my sidekicks to see if I can KO his Alfred. But looking at the board, I think I have 4 plus 3 is 7 plus 2, 9, 10, 11. I think I have more than enough there to take him out anyway, whether or not that rolls. It does come back. But I have more than enough. Even if he blocks the largest, I think I do have enough to take him down. 4 energy here. Nothing really to use with that energy. Not sure if I've actually figured out that I have lethal. That's the question. Tell you what, when you have a busy month and don't get to play a lot of Dice Masters, you start to get rusty on when you have something already wrapped up and when you don't. Let's see how long it takes. If I figure it out at all. I think my looks like my opponent is actually pointing out the fact that that I have him beat. My opponent figured out that I had the damage before I did, which is pretty hilarious. All right, so I push in after he points that out, and we call it a good game. So he was actually really starting to climb back into that game. If he had not attacked with Catwoman and Batman on the last turn, I wonder what would have happened, because there was definitely some traction being made, even though I was chipping him down slowly, and that's what it appears to be the way that this Black Adam ability should work. Even though I'm chipping him down slowly, he was able to sort of out-kill me, if that makes any sense. He killed me faster than I was killing him because of his Dark Avenger purchases. So his ability to deal 2 multiple times trumps my ability to deal 1, and then he re-rolled Alfred to avoid the KO. So that was actually a really interesting game, sort of a back and forth. And it appears to me, after playing 2 games with this and using Black Adam on one of them, even just that one game, one game sample, it would appear that Black Adam's ability is best used when built around a control team, because it's so easy to just pay 1 instead of let that die go back to the card. So you're basically just going to be constantly forcing your opponent to pay 1, pay 1, pay 1. So you're limiting their options on fielding characters or ways to kill you and just chipping away at them. That would be a really consistent way of building a Black Adam team. Not that this one doesn't work. It just feels like the Black Adam Talisman combo there is actually slower or probably worse in this team than just straight up buying all those little guys and throwing Grodd out there. That was so much easier. But again, I mean, you watching that game, and I was able to chip my opponent's health down enough with the Black Adam ability that just swinging in with those little guys was more than enough. So it's functional. It's just which one is more powerful or faster, however you want to kind of say that. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope it's inspired you to play around with this card. If you have some interesting ideas with the Black Adam ability, if you have some cool combos that you guys like, share them in the comments. Thanks for watching.